curate, so I'm interested to see how they will fend on that. But like I said, and Yoru as well on RixGG side, very, very excited to see how they're going to play around Autumn for this match. Mitch and Lothar, take us away.
Well, looks like we're jumping right into the action, Lothar. The game's getting started quickly. Is this online esports? Is that what this is? Because I'm used to delays. I'm used to elongated segments. You know, I was watching yesterday. I think their pre-show is a little longer than they would have liked. And here we are, Lothar. I barely sat down and we're starting the game.
Look, I'm used to casting Hearthstone TFT where we had to fill for 40 minutes sometimes in between matches. So this is actually quite surprising, but yeah, exciting match. A second Polish Sky, by the way. Starksos playing here with Sky, but we have some, this is amazing. Yoru, Sky, Viper, one match. Awesome. Just gonna have fun here, you know?
It's a strange set of compositions, but one that I'm very happy to see. You know, teams starting to stray away from what is the norm, shall we say. We're seeing some steps go on through the teleporter, and Autumn's going to follow right afterwards, hoping to bait somebody in to follow, but it's not going to happen. Still, the faster rotate towards the B side as Raise Your Edge Gaming are holding on down. They're caught behind a smoke and one player an elbow in much the same position, and so this should allow site control and a spike plant afterwards. For Raise Your Edge, it's very much about playing this game, or playing the late game. Oh, Autumn, his heart's breaking. He waited the whole time he's been waiting, and as he leaves the teleporter, they come on through. He's quickly able to initiate the fight, but not win it. Dropped, they lose control over Hookah, you would think, but Latex comes in with a double. That's huge. Now a two-man advantage to play with Fry under pressure. He was the big performer versus Liquid, but he won't be performing in this round. Luz has got the flank, though, and caught healing. Starksos still gets the kill. Now, a 1v2, a winnable position. The defuse already underway, down to 9 HP, though. Even a classic wallbang is going to be enough. 1-0 as RixGG take the pistol.
I'm not sure about that classic one. I have dealt 6 damage before with it. But really well played. Round by RixGG, I really liked it. And I feel like Autumn actually played it well. He didn't stay in the teleporter because he got a kill in it already. So he had to change his position, because if the next teleporter is 2 players, which happened, right? He has a very small chance of survival or taking them both. So I really like how he played. Unfortunate that he didn't win the duel, but we have seen usage of utility that we're not really used to see, right? The steps have faked the teleport. The gateway was actually put into lamps, where Jet from Razor Edge was waiting for it to expire or get a teleport on, and because of that they bought a lot of time on the B execute, which is also interesting, because it's like a, in theory you don't see any impact of it, right? Because there's nothing happening, but it did buy a time for the execute.
You know, this setup from Viper is also very, very common that we see, although I guess the next round is more so where we'll see it. I just thought it was kind of interesting how Sue was bringing up the Fnatic setup that Raise Your Edge are essentially playing with, that we saw debuted by Fnatic, and this is very much the same kind of setup, and we'll talk more about that in the next round. This one, there's not a whole bunch to write home about. You are just with a bunch of classics and weak weapons. You might, you know, scrap together a little bit of a buy onto like a ghost or something like that, but by and large these rounds are expected to be very one-sided, and especially when you push the A site as they did. There was nobody close, no choke points that had double peaks on them from the defenders. They chose their fight well, and the reward is only one player lost. But the mid hold is more specifically what I'm talking about, and I'm sure we'll see it now with the poison orb and then the snake bites for Viper to hold down and delay pretty much any A push.
Or just delay the plant, right? Snakebite can cover basically the entire site in front of the truck, which means that you cannot plant the bomb outside of without being shot from showers if you don't have the showers control, which is very important. So the A side should be covered pretty well, especially when you combine both the wall from Viper and Sova Recon Arrow or the drone, because that gives you information and tags the player that you can just kill through the smoke. So it's a very cool defensive setup that allows them to play 3 players on B.
When you see the 3 players on B, you will see a lot more of it. CNET just about able to make his way out of Hookah. He's under a lot of pressure, and even more so as he gets set on fire and shot. Not 2 things that you want to happen to you at the same time. To be honest, you probably don't want either of those things to happen to you at all. those little squids are going to be destroyed, but they give away that the players aren't fully rotating. They are sticking themselves in the sand right here. At least that's what Latex is doing, trying to delay and he sort of rotates towards that A site and fake it out, but he doesn't get a lot for his time. But I like the we'll see, that's a problem. I like the fact that they stay around this area. They give up a lot of control, like they're trying to make them think they're going A, but then the wolf spots one on long, and now you're gonna have to and the drone. My god, the amount of information potential from RYE is nuts, and they've pretty much avoided over rotating or running into a stack on over aggression because of these agents.
Unlucky flash. He actually flashed himself, but his effect of the flash was shorter than on his opponent, so he still gets the trade. Sorry, not trade, but the kill first. Now we see Luzu going into lamps, aggressively taking the control, but unfortunately Sova is not able to plant because they don't have the control of the site yet, but that happens now. Now they can plant, 40 seconds left, and they need to go for it. But still, there can be a rotation from A short, there can be a rotation from CT. No utility to stop and delay the plant, so it goes down. 2 versus 3 on the postman situation. That's about it.
Yeah, no, it goes about as you'd expect it to. RYE played that round pretty perfectly, to be honest. And they come into that, though, again, the context that we have to paint is that Rix, they have SMGs. They don't expect this to be a round that they win, but they look to do damage in it. It's the bonus round, as we call it. Now you can see Rix able to fully invest. They'll get a Vandals, Phantoms, whatever their personal preference is. And really, having been able to do so much damage and get the 3 kills, farm up ult points and get a plant, I think that's a very successful round.
I would say so as well. It's very successful because it also allows Luzu to use his ultimate this round. This is the impactful round when it comes to the ultimate from RYE. You want to get a kill from it because it just, it's a full buy. It's a full buy. A 1 kill, which is almost a given, unless you Rosa ult, it just creates so much problems for the defenses, especially when you play against a setup of defense that is actually very, let's say, static on how they play, right? Viper has to play off her utility, Sky as well, so you know the positioning even without actually reading into it.
Oh, that dash in with the ultimate, taking double damage as well, clipping the snake bite and the showstopper. You're saying that can be the key ability for the round. Well, no. It's not even going to exist in the round past the voice line. That is devastating. Push into the backside. Autumn's tried this a bunch of times. I've never actually seen that in the VODs I was watching back work successfully for him. That double shock dart landed. Only a little bit of a tickle. I bet some armor stripped off, and it makes this fight that little bit easier to trade out as Bone Cold is Stone Cold dead. A 2v4 emerges. Rix, though, still on the back foot. They know exactly where Latex is, not just because of the dart, but from before, and it's halfway stuck. Fry comes out and gets shot in the eye. Down he goes, 2-2. RYE with a good answer back after losing the pistol. They're now tied up.
Yeah, this is a very important round for RYE. Now they build up the economy. They can start saving for an op, which is also very important for CNET. As you see, he might actually be able to buy it this round, but he doesn't commit. They know they're playing against an eco. No point in risking losing an op this round, or retaking. In the case they lose a plant or something that goes bad. But what I wanted to point out is that I really didn't like the push from RYE with the showstopper through the one way from Viper. You know that she's gonna be playing close, right? And it was a little bit unlucky that he did land into the snake bite after the first satchel, so he got the debuff, and then one shot from that judge is lethal. In the meantime, they try and get control of A showers. Is that successful, Mitch?
You see how quickly the reaction is there? I'm just looking at the Brimstone, and he's like standing there waiting for someone to push. Then a Spectre gets sprayed through, and he's like, I'm out of here. I'm not messing around with this, because they got a lot of bullets. If there's 2 guys there, and they can spray all day. You can't return fire because of the silencers. So it's not something you really want to mess around with when you on paper have the advantage, obviously. I do like the setup here. A little bit of a tag. They know that Fry is here. Recon Dart just further confirms it. And an ultimate committed, nothing gained. Really good proactive approach as well by RYE to not play in a position where they can actually be exploited in lamps with the close range fights. And then they even just fully commit an ult to make sure that even if that player has slipped past them, that they get eliminated. Now CNED catches off Latex. on range is where you want to take these fights. You're versus Sheriffs. If you're far enough away, they can't even one-shot headshot you. And if you're versus the Spectres and you're far away, well, they can barely hit you.
And they have to go for a one-way smoke on A short. That's a tough task.
There's no more smokes, though. This is the last one. The problem is the time is so low.
It's not even that. It's 3 versus 5. How do
well, that too.
They have an advantage when they not only have equipment advantage, but also have man advantage and time advantage. Like, it cannot get worse, you know? Yeah. Unless you have less people even than 3.
Well, true, yeah. If you'd already lost, it would technically be worse, I suppose, but...
no, interesting. We don't see an op from CNET here. Or... Does he? We see it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he had a Spectre. I was like, wait, what is happening? Why is he buying? We wanted to play knife this round. You know? Hey, wait.
He sold?
I think he does it, right? He actually plays knife.
Yeah, I think he does. That call was made.
Bladestone goes in. That's the Spectre. Okay, so he fallbacks on his initial plan of buying a Spectre for an aggressive push somewhere.
Oof. The amount of things coming towards Kyle's there. He gets hit. Not hit, actually, but you got a flash coming. You got a shock dart as well. He's in a little bit of trouble. Wall goes up. This prevents you from really acting on the early control that they gained of Bath because it cuts it completely in half. Now, Rick's in a spot where, okay, they committed utility. They got nothing for it. They maybe got damage in their head at least. And they're left to try and fake something out. Steps over towards Bath. The player will presumably harass mid, maybe a smoke down. But for the most part, this is just a very solid hold from Raise Your Edge. They shouldn't be worried and pressured into rotating a player. And indeed, they quickly go back to the 3-man B setup.
You know, I know why Cena didn't buy the operator. It's because of the ultimate from Yoru. He would have been spotted instantly where he is, and then probably even like just taken out by the utility, and his position would be wasted, and then we'll have to retake with the somebody anyway. But they're losing entry frags. Razor Edge coming in hot on the defense.
Yeah, this is tough now for Bone Cold, though. He's stuck in the corner. He'd already been spotted out by the Yoru. Hold on. Starkso, CNET, everyone's answering up, and never mind. Bone Cold gets a rescue straight away as Autumn is left all by himself. They know where he was, and he hadn't got his ultimate to run away fully because he was spotted earlier on. Stuck, and one is enough. That's all he'll get. You know, if he gets Bone Cold, he has a chance. There was no one else immediately there to trade. Maybe it works out, but yeah, you pretty much knew the end of that story when you read the first page. 4-2 as Raise Your Edge continue to strike up these rounds now 4 in a row, and they're only getting more convincing actually as time goes on, even with weapons and ultimates being expanded and invested into by Rix. They're in a bit of a tough spot.
Yeah, although you have to remember this is Bind, where the attacking side is a little bit tough. But at the same time, they do play Yoru, which I feel like should open up some space on the map for the attackers, but it's not happening now. And also, I have to point it out, Frey is not showing up yet on server this match. He has 1 frag in 6 rounds, and that guy was the carry in the Liquid match.
Mm-hmm.
He was insane in that Liquid match.
Over 60 kills, I'm pretty sure, across the series, which for a Cypher ain't too bad. Versus Scream as well. You know, this is the kind of guy that's normally going to be bullying you. And we're showing kind of the depth of the UK scene as well. But we'll see how this one works out here for Rix. The thing I said in the pre-show, or no, we didn't have time to say in the pre-show. The thing I said in rehearsals was that Fry, okay, he did really well, but I don't believe that that's something we'll see consistently. And that's one of the problems for me now. What else do Rix have to fall back on? I did say they're an underestimated team in the public eye, and I 100% agree with that, but I don't know that they're a team that has enough depth to beat a team like this, Raise Your Edge, who are just showing up. And again, they're versus pistols, so you don't expect much from Rix, or they have pistols, so you don't expect much. Mm-hmm. But the problem for me, let's take a look at how things have gone. You lose a pistol, or from Rix's perspective, you win the pistol, you win the follow. Okay, cool. You're expected to. Then you lose a close round, add another. All right, it's acceptable. You got the plants at least. And since then, nothing. Yeah, there's been next to no progress. Not getting the entries. You're using ultimates, getting information, and not being able to act off it. They're just being out-aimed. And for me, Raise Your Edge has been CNED and some dudes. Yeah. And now it's looking like a real team.
That is true, but at the same time, when they can snowball few rounds, this allows CNET to actually just be still CNET and 4 dudes. because he is able to play the operator so many times, even when he dies, and they don't, like, you know, save it for the next round, because now they are chaining the economy, and this is so important for him to perform, and because of that, you're gonna see him being very impactful. So this is actually a very tough task ahead of RixGG, especially on Bind, and I feel like there's a lot of amount of pressure on Yoru to actually do something cool, because right now that Yoru utility doesn't really impact the game in any way.
Yeah, I agree. I think at the moment, from what we're seeing, I'm 100% behind you. For me, I'm not convinced that Yoru should be played. But as we said, you know, in that interview, you heard Rick say what they like to do. Well, we don't know what they like to do. We haven't seen enough of it on the streams anyways. And now we get the opportunity to. Latex doesn't clear the close right corner. That's a great position. Bone Cold is just catching these guys off with, I don't know what his signature move was. I think something to do with beer. But I don't know, like, is it an elbow? Is it? I don't know. But he's doing that thing. Anyone that knows, he's doing his thing to them. From the side. Catches them off guard. From the top corner, rope, I don't know. I don't watch wrestling, I'll be honest. Used to like Kane back in the day. But Fry's dealt with, and it's a 1v3 that's just unwinnable. Is it? I mean, solo HP, but he'll at least get the plant. He managed to take the TP, and Fry delayed enough time and kept them in position that they were worried about him being the one that was the point man for the round. So now a retake comes in, but again, with his HP so low, it's a tall order. Raise your edge. They play it together. One player in heaven was a little bit exposed, but the other two are right by their side, and CNED with the op, of course, reliable as he gets the kill, and the defuse is going to go to Skye, building up her ultimate. Makes sense.
Not a big fan of this round execution from RixGG. If you were paying attention of how the execute on B was actually trying to unfold in Cascade, it's just Latex trying to get out of Hookah with no support from his teammates from Garden, and he chose the actual worst possible timing to get out of Hookah because he was tagged by a drone. He had heard the drone being cast from CT or backside, and he just went in, got tagged, and when you're out of Hookah and you're being tagged, it's just like a duck hunt. I mean, it's not the honk match anymore, but it's a duck hunt. So it's pretty wild that he actually went for that. And from Garden, there was no support. There was Yoru, and if I'm not mistaken, who was that? Was that Sova? Well, it doesn't matter, but basically he was just alone on site.
Is honk a duck or is it a goose? That's the question.
Might be a goose. I thought I made a clever joke, and you.
No, I appreciate
that.
I appreciated it, Lothar. I did. By the way, we've just received info that Kyle's, which was my presumption of the name, is Killes. So my apologies, Killes. I don't know why you've spelt your name that way, but fair enough. I'll accept your way of doing things. 6-2. Raise your edge. After a little bit of a pause, they're back at it. Gonna just hold down this defensive side as cleanly as they can. And take a look at what they've got coming into this round. You've got a Skye and a Brimstone ready to pop those ultimates at any moment. But considering they're up against a weaker buy, yeah, dude, I feel like Rix just they invest a lot very frequently.
They try to fake, and then they don't execute really on the fake. Like in this case, Razor Edge gathered so much information, so many informations from just the Brimstone smokes being used on A. They didn't see an execute. The drone went through the teleport, goes to window on B, and gets the tag, gets information that 3 players are there. They have to rotate back, and now Razor Edge is prepared for that push. Look at that! They're being dismantled.
The judge play as well up close. There's Fry catching one off guard in a second as well. Gorgeous work. A 1v5 potentially if he can get it on the board. The spike is down. He's crept up behind them. Tripwire caught another in mid, so it's only CNED that's unknown to him, and that's a side swipe free as can be. He looks for mid and gets it. A 4K, but no idea about CNED. But there we go. Ultimate popped. Shot landed through the cage, but it's only going to land to the wall. Fry can't TP. He's got to go for it. CNED, he's trying to force the fight. This guy's a lunatic. He's crazy, but he plays it off time. A fake updraft, and that wins him the round. Fry, he tried in the 1v5, but it didn't work, and he might just step into that op to close it out. He even loses his weapon. It's heartbreaking, but at least he gets the money for dying. Although he would have had a Vandal, so doesn't matter either way.
It's pretty unlucky that he he actually got all of those kills in isolation to their teammates, right? Because he isolated every single player perfectly. But the thing is, now, here, this is the moment where he uses ultimate, and he should have just went for the spike instantly. Go for the spike, go to B, right?
I don't know if everyone's screen went super white there. It looked like he was.
I wasn't sure if this is only my screen, so I tried to avoid talking about it.
Godlike play. He just starts ascending. Gets just 4 kills, and he's just an angel all of a sudden. But he was almost the angel that they needed.
Wait, is it an FPX playing now?
Hey, that surprisingly took me a second to realize what you were saying there. Of course, Angel, the big brain IGL, but he's not a Cypher. He wouldn't be doing that. Likes to go for his paranoias, his shadow steps. But take a look at this. Ultimate used, nade on top of it, of course, does no damage to Autumn once he's in this ultimate form. He spots a player, doesn't give away his spot, but of course it makes a lot of noise whenever you deactivate your ultimate. They seem to still be a little bit worried that he's gone close to them. And look at the, well, paranoia, for lack of a better word, that Yoru's ultimate basically forced on Raise Your Edge. They play super passive and now have to take a 4v5 retake, a 3v5 retake rather, as Lilza picks up one with the op. And if they didn't have a lot of money, they wouldn't go for this, but it's worth committing to just because they've got those stacks of credits in their back pocket. Here comes a showstopper that they've baited out. Autumn manages to pick up another kill, and this is looking like, oh no, Starkso comes in with one. There's the flash to allow the defuse. It's gonna get, oh, it doesn't get halfway. The molly deals with him just in time. 7-3.
Thing is, if Rix actually gets a plant, they have a really good pulse plant setup. They have shock dots, they have a molly to play it off, they have paint shells from Race if she didn't use it to like clear this side in the beginning of an execute, which was the case in this round. But they are really going for that, you know, for the plant, and then having still enough players to play that pulse plant with ease. And this was the first round when it actually happened, right? All because of the space that Yoru created, so that he was really impactful in here. But they don't have the Yoru ultimate every single time, right? It's cost 7. It's so hard to get it, even when you get the orbs every single round. And in this round, we see a full default. Look at that. Cypher showers, 2 guys on A short, one guy just checking, getting the control of window on B. Will his opponent peek?
Oh, that timing could have made Luzza a very, very angry boy, but luckily he doesn't get peeked on it. Sadly, though, they do lose Sova elsewhere, and coming into the second last round, you know, that Hunter's Fury, it could have been very useful for post-plant. Luckily, as you said, you know, obviously the shock darts are gone as well, but they still have their Molotov, they have their nade, so it's something to work with. A lurk over on B, but this has allowed Bone Cold to just walk straight down. He got the god tier timing. There could be at least 1 kill for him here, but he's going to wait for them to push forward as well. Going around the corner, there's one. The second has already been spotted. Molly's going to go down, stuck in a corner with an op. Good luck to you. Out of there he goes, but Bone Cold's just waiting, and Fry catching off another. Pulls, oh, hold on, there's Autumn up behind, alone, and good night. Finally, he catches the kill, although it's at the cost of his teammate's life in the first place. Flash goes through, but Hunter's Fury, good night, sweet dreams. You're gone, you're dead. Out onto A, they want to go through long. The wall not up, of course, that's kill as... Oh. Hello? There we go. Starso catches it in the open.
Did you say you're dead or you're dead?
Haha, we'll never know.
I'm actually surprised that Bone Cold didn't wallbang the wall when they get a tag on Luzu, right?
I guess the idea there, he was probably just a little bit worried about somebody peeking, or about that phrase doing like a wild peek. But I think if he knew that that player had an op, the wallbang was 100% the play.
Right, and he saw the outline of the op as well. Wait, by the way, which is very important, when you play against Sova and you see that you are not able to dodge a scan or a drone, you just hide your main weapon to not show in case it's an op.
I think he did take his knife out and jump. I'm
not sure. I'm 100% certain that he did. He was visible with the op.
Okay. There's the tag coming through. Immediately, any idea of aggression taken out for CNED, and he's safe. He's in the corner, he's alive, and they probably don't know that. but where would he be? Luckily the smoke is down to stop him from even peeking him in the open, so that's nice and safe. CNED now looking for the fight. Bone Cold able to grab himself one out with the knives. There's one and not two, but luckily Coldamenta is there to close that one out. 9-3. I said it was CNED and 4 dudes. Well, it's definitely looking like a better team now from Raise Your Edge. CNED is showing up and he's on top as you'd expect from a Jet, but the rest of the team, they're not messing around right now. They want that spot in the main event.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see that even when, some of your players might not get that second kill and they're getting traded, there's a trade coming back. This is something important when you play on a professional level. Like, you're not expected to get double kills, triple kills every single round. It's on the highest level of play. All of the players are really good at shooting. So the duels are typically like 50-50. And this is why it's so important to make sure that your teammates can trade after you, because that increases the odds of winning the round. This is the crucial, fundamental rule of a professional play. Now let's see how Raise Your Edge will play the first person round. Oh my god, that's also 30 damage. Many stuns, many flashes.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see a convincing enough start for the attacking side, waning out the defenders. The problem is those rotates are underway, and Latex is the first to drop ahead and bring the man advantage comfortably into Rix's hands. Shock Dart does damage to Starzo. He's so low as he comes around the side of the site, and RCK deals with him very quickly. CNED all by himself. He's been the star player for this team, but with 60 HP and no possibility of heals, there's not a lot he can do, and certainly a bullet to the head will slow down any ambition you have. Pistol goes to Rix. By the way, quick point, I misread on the document I had made. I had typed Killaz with a Y. I don't know why. So I thought it was Kyle's. Somehow didn't realize that when looking. You know, when you have a bias in your head already for what it says, you're like, you're not really reading it. So I thought it was Kyles, and I'm like, how the hell is that Killaz? But that makes sense. It's just Killaz. That's my bad.
I wanted to point out very cool thing about the previous round. That's something that doesn't really might go unnoticed otherwise. RixGG actually use a Brimstone smoke, their own smoke on Garden, to counter flashes. They were sitting in the smoke to wait for the flashes from Sky, and then they peeked when they had basically, like, it was a given that they're not being flashed. Very cool play.
Oh, that Shock Dart. These Shock Darts we've seen... Oh, maybe a little bit of overcommitment to it, or was that a recon? No, it was definitely a Shock he put out. Not dealing too much damage. They'd already gone past the choke point, but they are sneaking in to spawn all the way through. Raise Your Edge might catch off the rotate. Jet, the one that we want to see here, tucked in the corner. This is huge, potentially, but Fry spots it. Sees the revolver just around the corner, and that Sheriff ain't in town any longer. Autumn going for the defuse, has covered player on the right side, but the classic, he still gets the kill. In comes the Snakebite. That's going to make it much easier, but it's still a 1v2. And on this, you're sitting down, you're throwing another Snakebite in, it doesn't matter. They've already got it halfway by the looks of things, and they're even just going to wait for this rush on forward. Killaz! Nice shot and out for more, but it's not going to land. No kill, and if he even just delayed it a second longer, 2.86 seconds, they could have gotten it, but sadly, he wasn't able to do so.
Still a very good round from Raise Your Edge. Like, that was actually pretty impressive, not gonna lie. The double dink on the Viper, on the Raise, you have to be mad about that, right? You're just holding an angle, and then a guy just comes in, double taps you with the left click. Pre-patch, it would have been the right click, but still gets you mad when someone just gets you like that.
That goes there.
It's never nice. And I mean, before you would say, right click classic, bro, come on. And now, what's your excuse? Guys just wrecked you.
Yeah.
A little teddy bear on the wall holding some cake. We'll see who's going to be the birthday boy here and get some presents. A present of a free round. Maybe.
What I think about the plan for Raise Your Edge is that they have a very strong post plan situation. Look at this. Brimstone, Molly. Viper, 2 Snakebites. Shock Darts, and then you have ultimates. Brimstone, Sova. It's nuts. But they have to get that planned. It's even like... This is why I think Rix has to play on site. They just cannot allow raise your edge to plant. They need to be very defensive on side, don't lose their ground. And fortunately for them, there's no raise on raise your edge gaming, so they can play backside.
Oh, CNET got caught off by that mid player there, right on top of the right inside the site rather. Bone Cold dropping down, avoids the molly. Beautiful stuff. And then he's taken out by a nade. Unlucky, mate. Really good play, though, opening a lot of space. And I gotta say, Bone Cold's impressing me a lot here. I had actually seen him before, but this is a whole new form. He's been aim pracking a bit, I can see. Cold Amenta tucked in the corner. Hasn't been having the best of games so far. We'll see what he can do as they come on out of that poison orb. They're just going to delay for a moment and wait until... Well, I mean, you can't really wait until it goes down. That's the problem. It lasts so long with snake bites. They can delay for most of the round. The recon must have bounced a few times. It's gone. It's out of here. And Cold Amenta, good for what? Needs a second, and he gets it done. 10 on the board, double digits, and a tough pill to swallow for Rix. If you look at how things are going, I don't think they're going to be in the prettiest situation. And no, economically, excuse me, they're in a pretty rough spot because they actually used a lot of their utility in the previous round.
Yeah, this was actually a very impressive round from Raise Your Edge, and the final pulse plan situation, which was 2v2, it's Kaios who made the difference. He was prepared for that recon arrow, so he destroyed it before the first scan went out. Because of that, no one was read out. They only know that there's one guy in the tube on the middle of the side, but he's, you know, he has a clear cover from almost every single angle, so it's pretty hard to flush him out. And also the utility from Viper, such a long timer on the smoke and the snake bite, so he delayed the retake for basically what, 10 seconds on his own code. Very, very strong post plant potential strategy coming from Razor Edge.
Well, Rix have put all their eggs into one basket, or at least one. They have enough to make a fried egg on one side and a beautiful omelet on the A side. 4 players here tucked in, ultimate in position to block out anybody inside of lamps, but it's not really, actually. It leaves the possibility for Luzza to come up behind and still take that map control. Good damage already done. Remember, this is an eco round for Rix. You're seeing a shorty in play, which you rarely ever see. They rotate over towards the B side here. All 3 players quickly moving in. The shorty, excuse me, I like the fact that they TP. Luz is obviously trying to isolate a close range fight if they left someone in the teleporter, but that would be a very silly mistake to make versus an eco to play, like, especially when you know that there's a shorty. You're not going to hold in the TP where he can be 1 centimeter away from you.
I mean, that was a raise your brow gaming, you know, moment, because why would you not pick up a weapon that was left on A side, right? They all teleported out. You had an actual chance of picking up a weapon, even if it's a Spectre or something. And then you increase the odds of actually either damaging the economy of your opponents or maybe even winning the round. So I was actually very surprised that he pushed that teleport.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those knee-jerk reactions, right? You think, maybe I managed to get in here and take the kill. But it's more the risk-reward, right? Okay, you get around the corner, you take that fight. If there's someone there, you kill them. But if there's not, you're screwed. You're stuck in a teleporter. When that door opens, you're on long range. You're gone. I like that recon arrow, actually. That's from the A site to land on the traditional B long spot, but they saw it coming. They were ready, so it doesn't get a scan off and reveal the 3 to 4 players that would have been within its radius. That information would have been key, but where CK has spotted, there's no one outside of A long. So that's at least something. They can push through Bath and gain the control on that side of the map.
It's very interesting because now the arrow was destroyed at the beginning of the round on the fountain in front of B. They didn't get any information on showers. They didn't get any info on A short, and they didn't get any info on mid as well. So where's the team? Where are your opponents? Like, they didn't gain anything from the utility because they don't play aggressive on any line. They just hold the sides. So they still are in the same spot as in the beginning of the round. Nice Dark so uses one of his flashes on B to fake the execute, and they try to rotate to A. But this is the moment where, look at the defenses. They have shot control. They know that they are going for A short. That allows for them to delay the plant. That was the Molotov coming in, but now they actually went back to B.
Yeah, Autumn's at least managed to hold on for a second longer. The ultimate to watch behind, or clear out of the site rather, where they would have been in trouble. They can get that spike plant down, but look at Rix running head first into the fray, trying to delay the time as much as they can. Gilles in with a quick shot. He'll get the spike, and he might get it down. No? It's so close. But in the end, he can't get it in time. The clock, his biggest enemy. And Rix just about take the round. That took everything from them.
That jump was so necessary. He would have made it if he wouldn't have made that jump. Because he bounced a bit from the side. From the tube. Oh, that's unlucky. Really unlucky.
Yeah, I get it instinctively as well, because even I could feel myself jumping to get the spike, right? No short jokes. No short jokes. But I would have been worried that he wouldn't reach it right when he ran past it. So you're like, oh, just jump to secure it. But yeah, with so little time, it's a hair's length away, but it's what gets you the round. As Rix, they committed so much in terms of their orbital strike. They threw their bodies, their lives at it, the most valuable thing they had. And it worked out in the end. Now Raise Your Edge down to a weaker buy, and this is starting to become more of a contentious map than I think you would have thought in the first half, at least. Question is, can Rix keep up that same level of pace? CNED up close. He's kind of made himself the victim of a one-way. That was weird.
Yeah, that was unexpected turn of events, I would say. But they still get the control of the site. There's the ultimate from Viper. This is gonna be a very big problem for Rix to actually retake. I'm just interested, why do we see the plant in default spots still? Could have been gone for, they could have gone for a shower plant, but I guess Viper has only possible lineups for the default plant, but this can be wallbanked.
Oh, they're being pushed now. That's the end of the Viper ultimate, you would imagine, as Kill goes down. Indeed, Starzo barely gets out and then shot through the wall. It's all down to Coldamenta. He's got a 1v3, but it's not going to happen. Oh, man. Well, Lothar, you asked for them to plant for bathroom or for showers. They instantly stop planting, go to the open, try to plant it, and get spammed from heaven. That was heartbreaking.
It's really like a head scratcher, right? Because of the ultimate allows you to plant anywhere, and it's so tough to actually plant in the default spot on the triple boxes, because then it can be easily spammed through. There's only half of the box being covered by the metal plate, so if you plant in the spot in the exact corner, you still can get tagged and damaged and even killed through heaven. And they had so much time to actually plant in any other spot. And even if you don't plant, you're not planting on default spot, you can still have a snakebite lineup just straight up in a straight line from showers made on the spot. So a pretty odd round from Razor Edge, especially with that CNED one-way.
I like the fact that they avoid the drone, but then they don't. I think CNED got spotted and someone shot at it. I'm like, oh, okay. We're not faking out the info, I guess. Maybe a bit of, I wouldn't say miscommunication, but the communication wasn't made fast enough. Killez, he got pushed on. But luckily that player made it out in time. I've never seen that happen before, but fair enough. A little bit of confusion coming into effect. Onto the site we go. And the B site being held off by Rix quite passively. They're behind smokes, except for RCK, who pushed out. He managed to catch him in the open, grab a triple. He was just tucked in the corner the whole time. Nobody saw him. And with that, 8 rounds. That's disappointing, because, Lothar, that's not the first time that we've seen Raise Your Edge suffer by not clearing the right side.
And that's something I actually pointed out in the pre-match segment, that Razor Edge actually plays very well on defense, but not so well on attack. And it's kind of surprising, right? Because you have actually a player that is made to be aggressive. CNED is that guy, right? Unless he plays operator. And he can be set up by Stark, so with his Sky plays. And it seems like we're not seeing that much. We're not seeing a lot of synergy between the Sky and the Jet to get those aggressive plays and those pop flashes through the smokes and so on. So I feel like what fails right now in Razor Edge is just the lack of the synergy, which is the lineup made for.
As time ticks away here, I have to ask myself, Razor Edge, looking to make those pushes happen. There's a couple of hiccups they've hit along the way. And I'm curious to see that, now we had a pause earlier, and I'm not sure if that was a tactical pause by Raise Your Edge. As far as I understand, each team has 2. We don't see a lot of them used. Really, really don't. And I would guess now for Raise Your Edge, about this time is when you call that pause. Your opponent's making a pretty significant comeback and you're only the favorite for a little bit longer, and then your comfort zone really starts to slip away. I would love to see them take the time to sit back and see how things have been going wrong and come up with a way to combat that, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be certainly not happening this time. Perhaps after this round as they push on out and towards the B site. 7th time is the charm. Shock darts going into the right corner this time. It was when the cages went down last time that someone came out, and you can see the Bone Cold cleared it out as he pushed forward. Their ultimate also makes sure nobody is on the site. They plant slightly off default so that those shock darts miss, and there's the Viper setup. Even with low HP, she will be a huge contributor to this post plant. The molly that they have as well. RCK, he needs to get something done, and he doesn't. Now all they're worried about is the straight push from dead ahead, and it's working out. Rix, they take over long control. CNED misses the shot, and it's all down to Viper. Now look, because she's got the orb, she'll delay quite a bit of time, but I don't think she can delay long enough. Not even close, and also that snakebite initially missed. It takes down Latex eventually, but now they can go in for it on the edge. Of course they can. It's clean as can be. One player needs the body block, and indeed he does. They heard Killaz coming, dealt with him, took him down at 11-9.
You don't see my camera. I mean, the viewers, you can see it, I guess. But I'm really like holding my head right now in my hands. I'm baffled. How did RYE, Raise Your Edge, lose this round? First of all, I thought the Brimstone will be using his ultimate to get actually control of the site, because he could have cleared entire elbow on his own, right? And then again, just go straight into the site. Maybe even get a kill somewhere there, and get that plant more easily. At the same time, it seems like the Viper doesn't have lineups prepared in case she has to plant in a different spot than default, which is also a head scratcher. And the problem of playing for lineups like that is that we have seen both Brimstone and Viper just fall back, not really play post plant. And because of that, the post plant was basically played 3 versus 5, because so much utility had to be set up. So they have a very strong post plant setup, but it wasn't used effectively because they gave up the entire site because of that. And Riggs just took advantage of it by being super aggressive, because they know Rise or Edge were gonna fall back, and they got 3 kills because there's no one to trade.
Yeah, the pace, exactly as you're saying, the aggression was pretty phenomenal from Rix, right? That level of confidence in such a pivotal moment as well. That molly down below, that's going to cause some damage and even get a kill. CNED taken down off the bat. Huge play by Latex. And here comes another down with the orbital strike, dealing serious damage. Bone Cold now down to 40. Starzo might be one of the key players, tucked up in elbow and looking to get it done. Their flank is already being covered as Raise Your Edge try to cover all their bases, but that's going to be pretty difficult with only 2 players left alive. Killaz even drops down his poison orb. He's being spammed at, going to provide himself a little bit of cover, but it's just not enough. And with that, a very swift retake from Rix, plus double digits on the board. We had, correct me if I'm wrong, a 9-3 half.
Yes.
And now we are 11-10. Rix showing us that their defensive side is evidently where they feel more comfortable.
100%. It's actually quite impressive how both teams lacked like an execution plan on attack, but they excelled on defense. It's like a mirror match.
And it's funny because, you know, we mentioned how in the first, I can't actually remember how many rounds, but for a decent portion of the first half, Fry only had the 1 kill, right? He was having a really tough time in getting up on the scoreboard. 6. He has 18 kills now. He's top fragging.
Yep. He's a beast on defense, I guess.
Well, he is Cypher. I guess it makes sense. And it makes sense as well then when you look at Rix's setup in this round, why Fry is all by himself inside of Hookah. He's confident in playing this position by himself and trying to frag out if they come there. Meanwhile, Raise Your Edge are looking keenly towards the A site. But the A site ain't looking back with a smile. They're not looking too happy about that. They start a fight and immediately lose a player. HP lost on Sarzo as well, the one player that they can't heal up. And with that, It's decision time, really. They haven't got any map control towards B. There could be players about to flank, and that's what they're conscious of. So they'll slow the round and look to catch those flankers off. But unfortunately, those flankers don't exist.
Really like how Rix played this round, because they pushed out basically a Razor Edge with the utility. The smokes from Brimstone paid dividend here, with the way used actually after the kill. So what that did was intimidate Razor Edge to even get a little bit of map control. And now, oh my, was that intentional? One might think, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
Left.
And
Either way,
he had to go through the teleport to go back to A short, and that gives so much info to Rix. They know they're now trying to get control of A side, because there's no way they're gonna go to B with that amount of time.
Yeah, 14
and because
seconds.
of that, Cypher just takes market control. They know exactly what's
10
gonna happen. They
seconds
know
left.
they are going through A short or saving.
And it looks like the save is the call, but Fry, oh, he's not here quite in time. The timing ends up actually catching him off guard, and he'll just run away and save this weapon. One kill, and then a save. Lothar, I'll tell you, that's one of the first times I've seen this happen in the last year.
Valorant,
That
right?
just doesn't happen, man.
In Valorant doesn't happen because it feels like there's no throwaway round in this game, you know, apart from maybe
Wait, look how much
pistol,
money they have.
echo pistol round, right? Yeah, I'm not certain why was this made? I mean, I understand now because they just ran out of time, right? But it also, like, because of the dash into the teleport from CNED, that sold the entire plan. They couldn't execute because Rix is just stacking the A. They know what's happening, right?
Even if
They
you're
were gonna
worried
go
about
into a firing
ultimates.
squad.
If ultimates is the conscientious thing here, that like you have two players, I think it's Yoru and Sova, very close to ulti, and they don't want to give them that for the next round. They could just go B. They know that Cypher's playing there, and I think that if you're going to give someone their ultimate, hell, give it to Cypher. He's usually not going to get that much value out of it compared to the others. So, I don't know. It seems like altogether weird decision making, but fair enough. Yeah, either way, let's not harp on them too much. We start out at 11-11, tied up. Rix, the more important point to take away is that they have made the comeback. I love the fact that Autumn is constantly harassing them with the teleporter steps, and then the
actual
fake back.
teleport, right?
Yeah, like he teleports to the A site, right? Afterwards as well. So he's constantly faking these guys out, and they don't know whether there's someone waiting there or whether they're about to stack up and push the B side. And hello, Fry, in with one, but that's all he gets done. Latex with another from backside, attempting to hold on, clutch it this round as hard as they can. They don't know that there's three players on long. The info isn't there to play with, and the Molly close will just buy them a little bit of time as the recon bolt dissipates. Still two players super low from Razor Edge after those spans through the smoke, and this is about as good as it could start off for Rix, but maybe it doesn't continue in the same fashion. CNED in with a quick kill, but now blocked out for another 15 seconds by that smoke.
Make it 20. Pretty good buffed. I mean, sorry, 19.25.
Oh yeah, 4 seconds had already gone by. So,
Oh,
30 seconds
did you have a timer on that?
Big
I mean,
brain.
you probably have.
I did on
in
the top
middle
of the screen.
I'm a big fan of how RixGG is playing this defense, you know, and it's kind of funny because Yoru is meant to be an infiltrator, right? He's meant to be a duelist that is like more, let's say, impressive on the attack, but he's actually more impressive on the
10
defense.
seconds.
we need to watch Brim. We need to watch Brimstone here. He's the player. If he manages to take down one, then he can stop the plant completely, but Coldamenta deals with him not in time. That is a costly way to go to overtime at best, because Razor Edge, they're now one behind. They have lost the lead for the first time since round 4.
If this is not a tilting moment, I don't know what is. Like, if Razor Edge seems to be not sure what to do, and because of that, they lose so much time on the rounds. They always seem to try to execute on the last possible second, but all of those fakes, they don't work on Rix because they do stay on site, because they know if you just get a kill on the spy carrier, you win. Or if he goes into a duel, you win as well because he loses time.
This is a rough one, man. A rough pill, tough pill to swallow, rather, but we've gone there a few times. There's been a few rounds that have really shaken Razor Edge to their core, and I think at this point they've really got to be kicking themselves with the fact that Rix came back from 9-3. It was looking so convincing for Razor Edge. Fry's been spotted out. He's been stunned, but his camera sees nobody's pushing. The information they get is huge. Cage popped to allow him back to sight, and he gets, well, back sight. If you're Raise Your Reg right now, the pressure is on still. As we said, no tac pause is used up, and they go into this round now with a very similar setup, a very similar push. Hunter's Fury popped, but Latex still gets the first kill, avoids the Hunter's Fury, pops the molly. Actually tanks the shot for that, but Fry in the side, in with a double. It's a 4v2. Raise Your Edge falling behind. Brimstone on the site. The lone defender, but the smokes fade as Luzza comes in to help. Now they've got a double peek as Starzo comes around, and Latex with one final kill. 13-11. An absolutely unbelievable comeback by Rix.